Hi guys, in this review we're covering my Dell AT101w keyboards. I got this one first for under $100, which I think is pretty good for one of these rarer black ones. Late, unfortunately, it was in pretty poor condition. The switches didn't feel good, and the plate was rusting. So I decided to do a full resto on this one. And then later, I bought this one. Very clean condition, and the black Alps switches already linearized. And this was kind of my first dip into the Alps world. And as of now, I've, modded both of these boards. So I will, explain what I've done to each of them. This was the most common Alps mechanical keyboard ever made. Originally made by Alps Electric and then switched over to Silitech, which of course these ones are Silitech because they have the Windows keys. There are a few different generations. These are both last generation, the most common models that you can find out there. Both of these are very late, with this black one from 2001 and this beige one from 1997, I think. And because of the large size of these keyboards, they've been nicknamed the Dell Bigfoot. All Bigfoots feature pretty good build quality with a, nice tough plastic case and a thick metal mounting plate. So definitely very nice and tough. 6 screws on the back, but they're also plastic clips. And I have taken both of these apart a fair number of times, and all of the clips are still in place, proving that if you are careful, you can avoid breaking them off, although the screws act as redundancy here to help keep the board together if they do break. As you can see, got a cable gutter and nice big flip out feet. And the model sticker comparison between the two. These beige ones can sometimes yellow quite a bit, which has happened a little bit on the side here, although the camera doesn't pick it up very much. But of course the black ones are immune to that, which is why they're a bit more sought after. The keycaps on the beige ones are lasered ABS, which is fine, although not the greatest, but it's kind of like whatever. And the black ones, you have infilled legends as well. Although it's worth mentioning that the black color on these is a little bit lighter to other black colored Alps keyboards, which, as you can see here, a lot of these caps have faded. They're pretty worn, and if you're talking about getting new keycaps, the black from those is usually a little bit darker than the black on this board. So I do have some new keycaps on the way, so I'll have to experiment with that to see how much of a color difference it actually is. But I feel like that's worth mentioning here. For switches, you can see I went with Matias Quiet Click. And for this one, I have some Cream Damped Alps. As I said before, the black Alps in this one were in pretty poor condition, so I decided to desolder all of them, clean up the plate, paint it black, and then I initially soldered in some Matias clickies. I didn't like it because it just felt like a bit overwhelmingly too loud. So then later down the road, I found a couple of Matias Quiet Click boards for parts. And then I swapped out the switch parts and put those in here. Then also mentioned Quiet Clicks are known for chattering because of the lube. But because I originally soldered these in as the clickies, these don't have the lube, and so I just swapped in the tactile leaf and slider, and basically these are dry switches that don't have the chattering issue because of the lube. And as far as I actually like these over the clickies, because although the clickies are nice, you know, and loud and have a good feel to them, they're a bit like too tactile for me. But these feel a lot more balanced. And of course you can take out the dampeners if you want, but I type noticeably faster on these. And overall, I think these feel more balanced. But yeah, they have a nice, 60 gram weighting for Matias switches, and the tactility it's very nice. I definitely like it. Now, comparing to the cream damped Alps I put in here, I swapped parts of these from an AEKII that I got, I think about a month ago. Either from Pine, doesn't really change it, but cream sliders and the tactile leaf with these. They definitely don't feel as nice, but I think they sound a bit nicer. I don't know, they're both different. I think it could go either way. And yes, these have a tendency to click on the upstroke, especially that key. I've heard you can fix that with a paper mod, although I haven't done that to this, but yeah. These aren't quite as, not as tactile, but they still feel pretty nice. But they still have the Alps sound because of the Alps switch housing. But so the black switch parts for these are in my AEKII, although because this one came linearized and this one did not. I click modded the black leaves from this board, and basically I have a click modded AEKII in pine housings, which sounds fantastic. Although the Black Alps parts I took from this board, I have them as like spare switch plates, although I do plan to swap those into a KB Paradise V80 that I have on the way. So I'll see how that goes. These last gen Bigfoots have usually straight cables and PS2 plugs, so pretty easy to use them on a modern computer with a PS2 converter, or also with a Source with a PS2 connection. Overall, they're pretty good, starter Alps keyboards. But I recommend is getting one of these and an AEKII, swapping them, so that, because these don't sound as nice as other Alps keyboards. Like, the AEKII sounds a lot nicer, especially if you swap the internals, like the blacks into an AEKII and the creams into here. It makes this into a decently quiet keyboard, although still moderate on the noise level. And then, an AEKII just sounds so much better. But I'm really happy I got this, not for super expensive, even though it was pretty heavily used and worn. And I'll see about keycaps pretty soon, because I got some in the mail. But overall, they're pretty good. As starting into the Alps stuff, I wasn't so sure when I got these keyboards, but after I got some more Alps stuff, it hooked me. So once I review some more of my Alps boards, I'll be able to talk some more about how much I love them. But that'll conclude it for this review. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and that's it for this one.